What is up, guys? My name is Andrew, and today somebody tried to scam me again. So I made a video like this a while back, and a lot of people seem to like it. So here's another one for you guys. Although this scam was kind of different from the last one. So buckle in your seatbelts. We're going on the scam train. That sounded a lot better in my head than it did out loud. So it all started when I got a message from easyforjaleezygg.girls. And she said, "Hi, heart emoji." I don't get the heart emojis in these pictures because it's on the phone. I saw you on Jackpot. Jackpot, I said? Yes. CSGO Hunt. I'm already a little bit red flags here because I don't use CSGO Hunt ever. So I say, interesting. I've never been to that site. She says, lol, bro. I saw you there. I say, oh? She says, go play together? I say, what was I doing? She says, I mean, team bet. You bet skins. And I'm like, okay, like high bets or low bets? You know, because I want to know. She saw me there, but I didn't see me there. I want to know, like, what was I doing? She says, I don't know. I added you a long time. Low. So I say, CSGO Hunt. It must have been like ages ago because I don't bet too much anymore. So she says, go play together. I say, no, thanks. She says, why? I say, I'm not really into jackpots. True story. I don't like jackpots. She says, go, I bet. You just say. Okay. I say, question mark. I have no idea what the heck that was. And then I say, I don't want to bet, dude. I really don't want to bet. At this point, I'm kind of annoyed, you know. I was about to eat dinner. Like, I was about to put my salmon. Salmon is what I was eating that night. This night. It was actually today. I was about to put my salmon in the oven, and she messaged me, asking me to bet. So I'm a bit annoyed. You know, I want to eat my salmon. Right? But then she sends the link, csgobaird.com, with a Y. This is where I start to think that a scam may be afoot. And if I do nothing, then what better am I than the scammer herself? Anyways, I made a video like this before with another scammer, and you guys in the comments said, yo, don't visit these sites like this because they're going to steal your IP address. So I was a little bit careful this time. Took a VPN and used a Canadian IP address. So when I got to the site, it looked sketchy. Like, really, really sketchy. It looked kind of like the site that was in the last scamming video. It's just a jackpot site where you bet, and a wheel that went around. But not only that, it was like glitchy. So the timer would count down, but the timer would get stuck a bunch of times. Kind of like someone coded this site in like a minute or two. It's not possible, but you get the idea. It was unprofessional. So I decided to continue the conversation. She says, see, I bet. I say, okay, I'm there. What's up? She sends me this, whatever, for the sum. She won the sum of $400. Great. So I say, She said, if you made a bet with me, the last pot, I would give you $200. She says, just team bet. You bet 25 and I bet 25. You win, I give you 50%. So now it seems like she kind of wants a betting partner. She wants me to go in with her on this site. I'm assuming it's a her. She wants me to go in with her on the site, and we both bet the same amount. We kind of snipe people and take the winnings and run away with it and split it 50-50. So me, being the skeptic that I am, say, what if we lose? She says, I bet again more. I say, what if we keep losing? She says, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I say, I don't have many skins though. She says, can I put more than you that we could play the skins? All right, obviously not an English first language. So now is when I decide to do my almighty Google search. I'm going to search up the name of the site, and guess what returns? Nothing. Well, there's another site called CSGO Bird, but it doesn't have the Y. The site we're on is called CSGO Baird with a Y. So it's a lesser known site. In fact, it's probably not known by very many people at all. So I report my findings to her. I say, this site looks sketchy. She says, I wait you. This site looks super sketchy. She says, lol, WTF, man. I say, what? It does. Like 100% sketchometer mode. And she says, I don't understand you, which I get because English isn't her first language. And she's probably like, what the heck is a sketchometer? Does this guy have like an actual meter that he uses to determine how sketch my site is? And it's 100% on the sketchometer. Is that good or bad? Like, what the heck is a sketchometer? So she says, you play with me or no? Now this is where decisions have to be made. On the one hand, I think it's a scam. The site is sketchy. I really don't want to put my skins onto this site. And I don't really want to be associated with this person, Easy for Jaleezy GG Girls, either. Just because, you know, she brought me to the site and it seems sketchy. So I don't want to do that. But on the other hand, I am not 100% sure that it's a scam. The site looks sketchy, but it might not be sketchy. She sounds sketchy, but she might not be sketchy. My scammer senses are tingling, but I don't have enough evidence. I need to get more. So I start with the site itself. I look at the people who are betting on the site and I decide I'm going to search their names on Steam. Tsunami FPS. Now there is one Tsunami FPS on Steam, but the pictures are different. Since there's no other Tsunami FPS on Steam that matches the picture of Tsunami FPS on the site, I come to the conclusion that the site is using fake people and fake bets. Definitely a scam. So now I have the site as a scam, but I don't have the scammer. I don't know if she's scamming me or if she didn't know that it was a false site. At this point, she's getting a little bit anxious, so I say, dude, you put your money on this site? Kind of as like a filler question. And while I'm doing that, I search up her Steam profile to see what I can see. Her Steam profile opens and, ooh, nice picture. I mean, good information. Good, strictly informational information. A couple of things I notice immediately are her name is Julia. She is from Canada. She is a level 43. She has no comments on her profile. And finally, the most important thing, her profile picture has a Twitch logo on it. Now that's huge. That means she's not just some random person that's messaging me. She's probably actually a streamer. So I immediately ask about it. I say, wait, you're a streamer? She says, before, yes, I play here. Okay, things just got interesting. I say, oh, cool. Where are you from? She says, France, but recently moved to Canada. I say, oh, nice. Which part of Canada? I'm trying to ask as many questions as I can so that I can tell if she's lying or telling the truth. And while that question's a brewing, I decide to do a little bit more research. Easy for Jaleezy is the name. Twitch is the platform. Let's do a little Google search to see if we can find her. So I did the Google search. I found a YouTube channel on the top for Easy for Jaleezy with 3,472 subscribers. But the real question is that who I'm actually talking to? One other thing that I noticed is that down by the video, you see that the type or text or font or whatever we want to call it is in Russian. This is Russian right here, and the donatepay.ru, definitely Russian. However, the person that I'm talking to is French/Canadian. So I can't do anything with that yet, but I'm definitely going to stick it in the back of my mind for future use. Back to the conversation, she says, I live in a hotel where my father is a businessman. I can't go outside. I'm not interested in Canada. I want to go back to France. But my father took me here for 2 months because he had a job. Asking more questions, I say, oh, well then, which part of Canada do you live in and which part of France? So while that question's brewing, I do a little bit more research. I search up Easy for Jaleezy on Steam to find out which accounts there are. And sure enough, there are more accounts with that name. One from Slovakia, another one from Slovakia, a bunch of other ones. But the top two are from Slovakia, which seems a lot closer to Russia than France or Canada. Back to the question, she answered it. She said, what part of Canada? I don't know. I say, really? Why not? I mean, like, which province, which city, or even which area code? I have friends in Canada. I mean, doesn't it seem a little bit weird that you would be in Canada, but you wouldn't know, like, what province even you're from or you're in? She keeps going with, but in France, in Strasbourg, about, I don't know why I gave that a Russian accent. Maybe it's because of all the Russian vibes I'm getting off of this person. About 50 kilometers from the center of France. I'm not interested in communication in Canada. I say, nice, I've never been there. Only to Paris, Brittany, and Normandy. Do you speak French? Est-ce que tu parles français? Which means, do you speak French in French? She says, oui, assez bien. Now things are about to get interesting. It might be a little bit more difficult to follow along than before, but I'll definitely translate to keep you up to speed. She says, où habites-tu? Which means, where do you live? I say, j'habite aux États-Unis. Mon français n'est pas très bien, mais je connais un peu. Which means I live in the United States. My French is not very good, but I understand a little bit. Have you ever been to Slovakia? I say, it's a great place to live. She says, tu étudies le français à l'école? Which means, do you study French in school? And then she answers my question with non, which means she's never been to Slovakia, or it's not a great place to live, probably the former. I say, oui, j'étudie un peu, pas beaucoup, which means, yes, I speak a little bit, not much. You never been to Slovakia? Shame, such a nice place. I say, so why are you betting on a Russian site out of curiosity? She says, je lui recommande de me. Basically, I think that means I recommend the site to my friends. I'm not entirely sure what that one means. So I say, why not a site like CSGO House or CSGO Atsy? I mean, they both have jackpot. Why this random sketchy site? And then I say, honest, I think the site might be a scam. And what's up with you? She says, I've been playing here for the second week. I like everything. I say, why do you say you're Easy for Jaleezy? I know her. I watch her stream. You don't sound like her. I don't actually watch her stream. Sorry, Easy for Jaleezy. I wouldn't understand you if I did. I'm sure you're a nice person. She says, ah ha 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 ha. I say, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're a French scammer trying to scam me. She says, XD. I say, why do you do this to people? Are you trying to get free skins? So at this point, I'm fairly certain she is trying to scam me. Not 100% sure, but I'm like 95. You know, like you know, but you're not don't really. You know, you're almost 100% sure. She says, "What are you doing?" I say, She says, "You're an idiot." I say, "What? Why, bro? You're not who you say you are, and you want me to bet on a sketchy site." So she sends me the link to her Twitch. Big mistake. I go to her Twitch account and it looks super cool. Then I go down into the bottom and see Steam. I click on her Steam account and, well, it's not the same Steam account as the person I'm talking to. This is not Easy for Jaleezy that I'm talking to. I am talking to an imposter. While I'm looking at that, she says, see my Twitch. I say, go online. She says, tomorrow. I say, no, do it now. Just so that I can see you're who you say you are. She says, watch the recording of the stream. I can speak Russian. Mm-hmm. I say, okay, let's talk for real. You are a scammer. I am going to report you. She says, so, BB, idiot. I say, I just want to know why you do it. She says, GL. Heart. So here I am, left alone with a scammer. And all I can ask is why? Why try to scam people? Don't you feel bad when you take people's skins? Any remorse at all? I mean, you seem like a nice person. We had a nice conversation, and I know you probably scam people since you think you can get away with it. I'll report you, and you probably will get away with it, but one day, my friend, it's gonna catch up with you. Stop scamming people while you still can before you get into any real trouble. Don't steal. Just take the time and work for the things you want. It'll turn out much better in the end. Goodbye, my French friend, and I hope you decide to turn things around one day, and I hope things turn out all right before it's too late. And that's the last I heard of my French scammer friend before I reported and blocked him/her forever. French scammer friend, if you're out there, I hope you turned your life around. I hope you're not scamming people anymore. And people watching this video, I hope you've learned from this attempt. And if someone tries to scam you in a similar way, I hope you don't fall for it. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Comments down below. What did you think about it? Would you have fallen for this scam? Or would you have not? Put that down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.